everybody. So I wanted to take a moment today to talk about the independent contractor status vis-a-vis the MTSO. So I'm not talking about y'all who have your own private business and that you secure your own work and work directly with a physician's office or that sort of thing. It's a different model. What I'm talking about is examining the relationship that contractors have with MTSOs and the validity of that. And I am going to, I think the most significant piece of information that I have run across, and I'm going to attach underneath this video on Facebook, is a lawsuit from 2002 in which a company, Quality Medical Transcription, is that right? Yeah. Lost to some transcriptionists who challenged them in court for unemployment insurance. They appealed the ruling, and the appellate judge ruled in favor of the medical transcriptionists. And the thing I like about this lawsuit is it's specific to medical transcription, so it has an understanding of what we do, and it lists the, one by one the ruling, the tests that we're subjected to. And so what I'm asking you guys to do is to not just engage in right fighting with me, but I'm asking you to give me the facts as you know them. If you've had other experiences and said, look, I learned this about this situation, then please tell us what it is. I'm telling you that I have spoken to the following people, that every single one of these entities said that it doesn't work. And then I'll tell you why later. I've spoken to a lawyer named Derek Brazil in Dallas many years ago. I don't even know if he would remember speaking to me, but I remember him. I spoke to the Oregon Department of Labor about this. The state is interested in this from the perspective of workman's comp and unemployment insurance. I was in their office for 2 or 3 days a few summers ago examining something else, and we had a lot of discussions about all of this stuff. And they said no. I called a representative at the U.S. Department of Labor. They were not very hopeful. They go, why don't you get another job? Why are you working in this industry? But they agreed that it didn't meet the criteria. I spoke to a gentleman at the IRS. He agreed that it did not meet the criteria. I spoke to Kevin Dolly. Kevin Dolly is the lawyer who is representing the ladies in the Transcend lawsuit. He's familiar with the medical transcription industry, and he also said no. I spoke to attorney Rob Wiley. Rob Wiley is the attorney, the firm who represented one of the 2 keystrokes lawsuits. They actually did represent me in filing a complaint to a company that I was a contractor for. And I'm not going to go into the details of that, but I have posted the complaints for your reading pleasure in the cubby, the link in my About section on the Facebook page. They said, I think one of the sentences in that complaint said, there is nothing in this relationship that represents an independent contractor. This is a misclassification. I actually worked with them for 6 to 9 months, and I learned a lot about all of this with them. The complaint was not pursued because of this. I did not have $5,000 or $10,000. I think they asked for 5, as I recall, of a retainer fee. And when a company, and basically the company blatantly ignored the complaints that were sent by Rob's office, Mr. Wiley, I should say, and they said they've never experienced that before, ever. That a company just ignored the complaint. I mean, they were just like flabbergasted. And they said that gives you some sense of what we're dealing with in this industry. It's sort of the balls of the people in this industry. So they filed a complaint. They were ignored. I think they sent 3 or 4 follow-up letters. And then we came together and said, look, he said, look, this would be really expensive for us to pursue because you're in Oregon, we're in Texas, they're in Florida. They probably knew that at some level and were just sitting and waiting for us to deal them the last and final hand. And they weren't going to respond to that until their hand was forced. And that's what they did. And Mr. Wiley's office didn't want to, it was a business decision they made, basically. We're not going to spend those monies on a risk. And that's how the legal system works, and that's kind of how we've gotten into a lot of the situations we're in, I think, because of our work setup, of all of us being all over the country. There's difficult jurisdiction issues, there's telecommute issues, there's piece rate issues. It's very confusing. And so, a couple people said there isn't a right or wrong answer, but what I'm telling you is this. I'm not telling you I'm right. What I'm telling you is I went to all of those entities, and those are the answers they all gave me. That the reason for that is basically this. Excuse me. The biggest weighted piece of this decision is about control of work. And I'm finding that in our industry, people think that if they just let you work whenever you want, then that relinquishes control and that allows you to be a contractor. And if you have your own computer, a few things like that. From the people that I spoke to, especially in Mr. Wiley's office, because I had the longest relationship with them, and discussions with them, the things about whether you have your own equipment, whether you can work whenever you want, there's really sideline issues to the main thing going on here. The main thing going on here, according to these people that I talked to, is that it's about the control of the work, meaning the hospital and the MTSO together. They make the rules up, they have the policies, procedures, the software, how we do it, they train us, and they bring us on like an employee. There's very little difference in us working as contractors versus us working as employees in this industry. I chose to be a contractor because I find the employers abusing the laws so much that it just was intolerable for me trying to jump their hoops. Then there's a lot of them, So I decided to become a contractor to at least get a little of that off my back. Not because I agreed with it, because if I needed to get an income in this industry, I had to pick something, because I couldn't find anything running great anywhere. Not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying I couldn't find it in my experiences. In my experience, it wasn't existing. So what I'm asking you to do is give me information that specific information. I don't want to hear, well, it is, well, I have a business and so it's okay. That doesn't tell us anything, you guys. I want to know, I want you to look at that QMT case law that I'm posting, and I want you to tell me, what did QMT do wrong that your business is doing differently? What makes this okay and not okay, specifically to the medical transcription industry? We have a community here of medical transcriptionists, a professional organization, who, by the way, has best practices that totally are in alignment with the law. Another feather in the cap for HDI. I mean, they paid attention to this stuff. For me, the problem we're having is the companies are the ones that are creating difficulties for us, not our professional organization. So they pointed me to, Linda Brady pointed me to their stand on this, and it's it's just consistent with the law. How the law is being interpreted is the problem. So I'm asking you guys, please, do not take me on. I am here to sort the facts out, and I want you to help me do that. All right? Thank you.